So let me stop sharing there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my bag of tricks in Fusion, and you'll see that it's pretty much the same thing. So let me open up Fusion here. I was just showing, and those of you who aren't going to use Fusion, you can just ignore me. Talk to Annabelle. Share your designs with each other. Make sure everything looks good. I was just talking to some students who were panicked about whether they could do all this stuff in Fusion, and oh yes, you can. In fact, I've done a lot of stuff in Fusion. In fact, I think I shared an announcement yesterday, my DNA ring design, I made that in Fusion. So this is just something really goofy I made in the last section for absolutely no reason. Okay, so let's start a new design in Fusion, and let me just walk you through how Fusion works. And even those of you who have Inventor, you may be interested in Fusion as well as a budget, low intensive, like a really, really simple program that you can use, and it does all its computations in the cloud. So this might be handy. I use Fusion as well as Inventor. How you get started in Fusion is it's very, very intuitive. It's pretty much the exact same thing as Inventor. The screen looks like this. There's the sugar cube up here. There's the hand tool down here. There's the history pane over here. What we're going to do is we're going to start a 2D sketch. So we just do create sketch. The annoying thing about Fusion is that the things are just in different menus, that's all, and it'll just take you a little while to get used to that. So I'm going to select a plane and start my sketch. Notice that the 2D tools pop up, and then I can go in here and I can make my ring just like before. For some reason, this ring is much bigger than the last one I made. All right, fine. And then I click Finish Sketch. And then I can take this thing and I can extrude it. Let's give it a little bit of perspective so I can see. You can kind of drag on there if you like. There we go. And then click OK. So now we got a puck. We need to make a ring. Let's put a hole in it. Put a hole in there. Boom. There's our hole. Voila. Oh, that's not centered. Oh, well. Okay. Attractive ring. The way Fusion works, those of you working on a trackpad, you put your fingers on the trackpad and you pull them apart and you can zoom in like that or out like so. And of course, you've got these other tools. So how would we put text on this thing? The exact same way as an Inventor. So what you would do is go to Origin, click that out, find the plane that you want to work in. Like, for example, that plane right there. And then remember my religion about making an offset plane. I pull this out. And there we go. So now we've got an offset plane sitting outside of our three-dimensional object like so. We can select this plane, and now we can start a 2D sketch in there. And then from then on, it's pretty much the same thing. So notice the text tool is buried in this menu. The way the text tool works in Fusion is slightly different. You actually just click wherever you want the text to go, and then you put text, you know, like that. Let me make it a little tiny bit smaller. Make it bold. Drag it wherever you want to drag it. Okay, so now here is the major difference between Fusion and Inventor. Is whenever you want to emboss or extrude your text, the way you do it is slightly different. They have a tool in Fusion called Press Pull. So what you do is you go to Modify, and you go to Press Pull. And I don't know what you're supposed to think, that you press is embossing and pulling is extruding, I don't know, whatever. You click on this thing and you'll get a whole bunch of options here. So let's just kind of try it out. Notice that there's an arrow pressing out. What I would really like to do is I would like to go into the ring in this case, I think. So this is really goofy. I'm going to put a negative number here. And I'm going to go in like 0.1 inches. But notice that it's only pressing in from where the text is floating out there in that plane. So now we got to do one more thing. We have to select where we start, which is from the object. And so we select the object, and now it's doing the right thing. Notice you also have to look at operation here in the press pull menu. you have to select whether you what you want to actually have happen here. And in this case, we want to cut into the object, and so we go like that, and boom, there you go. Okay, so it's really, really, really similar to Inventor. There's very little difference to it. Any questions about Fusion so far? Any of your fusers? Yeah. It took me a while. I already had it open. Is it giving you any license complaints? Especially the first time, that'll take a while. So I think that's one of the things that sort of, one of the downsides of Fusion is because it's cloud-based. Sometimes I find that I'll do some really simple operation and it's like, I don't know, everybody at that moment is watching Justin Bieber or something and the internet is busy. And I can't do a, simple calculation. So yeah, there's definitely something to be said for standalone software that you can run locally. Most of the time it won't be an issue. Just let me know if it doesn't open at all. You could just close it and start again. Oh, what kind of Mac do you have? Or what kind of computer? Do you know which? Here's one issue that I had with mine. After I installed my, let's see, I upgraded my Mac OS to something, Catalina or whatever, and then I had to reinstall Fusion. So I don't know, it may be that something is missing. If it takes a really long time, then it could be. What I would do is type your specific, so if you go to your Mac up in the top left. Yeah, it's like type Mac 10.15.6 or whatever, comma, Fusion not opening into Google, and you'll probably get, because sometimes there's a missing library, a Java library or something stupid like that. What's up? How's the lip? It's okay? Yeah, that drink looks good. I could use some coffee right around now. Yeah, you guys can have an open house whenever you want. He's from material science. He's going to try to evangelize. Okay. If I was just about to say that if you're having difficulty getting Fusion to work, feel free to come up here and use this this one. I have Inventor installed here. If it comes to that, that's fine. Let's see if there are any questions online. I already downloaded Fusion on my Mac, says David, but would it be better if I can download Inventor Pro on Boot Camp? No, David, do not do this. I mean, you could. You could, and I have done that. I have gone that route, but let me tell you what I discovered. So whenever I did the boot camp and I set up my partition was never big enough. Like if it was big enough, it was big enough for like 2 weeks. And then you can't just resize your damn partition. You have to uninstall everything in Windows and the whole shebang, and it's, I don't think it's worth it. From my standpoint, okay, if you're gonna, David, if you're gonna become a professional CAD artist, then probably you're going to go buy another computer anyway, just for that purpose, right? Something like that. I would not bend over backwards to get Inventor running on my Mac. Fusion is fine. The only major drawback of Fusion that I've encountered is that there are fewer materials available. Whenever you go into doing your FEA simulations and all that later in the semester, you'll find that you have to simulate, there's like one wood type or something like that, right? It's like there's 3 or 4 wood types. Other than that, there's really no big deal. So I wouldn't mess with it. Let's see, any other questions? People were asking in the last class, they were wondering about whether you can do all the fancy-schmancy sweeping and all this other kind of stuff. It's almost identical in Fusion. I think you'll see that pretty much the exact same thing. Yeah, it's very, very similar. If you anybody gets in Fusion and there's something you want to make and you just straight up can't make it, just let me know. And Annabelle and I can probably figure it out pretty easily. There was one other question in my last class. Somebody said that they were like devoted to SolidWorks. That's fine. You can use SolidWorks. Okay. So how about I put some tunes on and we can just, Annabelle and I can just orbit around and. They would be in the little chat screen right here. I'll put up this chat screen. Oh, actually, I can't show that one. I'm not going to show the private one. Let me share this screen. Ah, never mind. I'll just leave it like that.
So they haven't turned in their sketches yet?
They turn them in tomorrow, I believe. So we could just see if everybody's doing all right with their sketches.